All right. Hey guys, welcome to our Westside Real Estate Meetup hosted by WNN Properties. And yeah, it's 7:03 and time is one of our most valuable assets. And I just want to thank all of you for being here tonight and joining us this evening. And before we begin, I just want to disclose that this will be recorded and will be posted on YouTube. So if you missed something or if you would like to share it with your friends, please feel free to do so. And we also encourage everyone to join our Facebook page. And you can go on Facebook and look for Westside Real Estate Meetup page. And you can also join our email group at Westside Real Estate Meetup at gmail.com. And the email is mainly to send out the reminders for the meetups and if we're hosting any events from WNN. And for those who are new here, my name is Young Park, and I'm one of the co-hosts for our Westside Real Estate Meetup. I am a buy and hold investor in the Kansas City market. And I've had a pretty good month since our last meetup. Since then, I've completed a cash out refinance using the delayed financing. And I'm actually finally completed the rehab on this headache property that I've been rehabbing for close to 10 months, actually. So that's come to an end, and we're actually this close to getting our tenant in. Just waiting to verify on a couple of things, and I think we're going to approve that tenant. So yeah, I'm very excited about that. And like many of us, I'm a full-time worker striving to achieve financial freedom through real estate investing so that my wife and I can have the freedom to spend more time with my family and the loved ones and be able to support our parents financially. And if you would like to connect with me, please feel free to reach out to me. My Instagram tag is on my screen right here. And also you can find me on Facebook. So yeah, today we have our guest co-host. His name is Gilbert Coloma, and he's going to introduce our guest speaker and lead the conversation tonight. From what I hear, I think they're kind of close to each other.
Right on.
Yeah. And after that, we're going to have a few breakout sessions right after. It'll start around 8 o'clock. So please stick around for that. We're going to get into smaller breakout rooms, maybe like between 3 to 6 people. And in that small group, we're going to share what we learned and how we can help each other out. And I can't emphasize this enough, networking is so important. It was a networking event like this. In fact, it was Westside Real Estate Meetup that really got me started in investing and met my friends. So yeah, please stick around to the end. And now I would like to bring up Mr. Gilbert. How's it going,
Right on,
Gilbert?
Young. Good. Going good, Young. Yeah, man. I'm excited for you. Congrats on your accomplishments there in the last quarter, man. You're smoking. You're smoking it, man. Being that for those of you that don't know me, my name is Gilbert Coloma. I am also an out-of-state real estate investor. Young is my idol, so I'm trying to do what he's doing, the Burr method or Burr strategy in Kansas City, Missouri. Implementing that strategy, buy and hold, long term, hopefully to one day retire sooner rather than later from my W-2 job and make real estate investing a full-time gig here. So yeah, that's a little bit about me, and a big integral part of me getting started in real estate investing. I owe it all to our guest tonight, Chris and Sheena. Chris, he's my younger brother, and my sister-in-law Sheena. They now reside in Las Vegas. They will share how they use real estate investing strategies to expedite their retirement goals, like everyone else that's striving for financial freedom, right? Chris and Sheena will utilize education, persistence, and focused intention to continue the trajectory toward their goals. So without further ado, here's Chris and Sheena.
Hey, thanks, Gil.
What's up, guys?
What's up, everybody? Well, first of all, thank you, Gil, for the recommendation or being voluntold But no, seriously, thank you, Young, Brandon, and the rest of WNN for having us here and this privilege to speak on this platform. But again, Sheena and I were, born and raised on Oahu from Waipahu on the west side and relocated to Las Vegas 14 years ago, and we've established roots here. But we are out-of-state investors as well. We invest in the Memphis market and the buy and hold strategy. And we have a few properties here in Las Vegas too.
Nice. Thanks for that quick intro. And so what made you guys decide on real estate, investing in real estate?
Yeah, real estate, you've hit all the points, but I think everyone in this room, we share that common goal. I know I speak for Sheena and myself. We invested in real estate because it provides us that goal to reach retirement sooner, replace that income, that financial freedom, if you will. But more importantly for us, it's the time freedom to spend time with each other, spend time with our family and our kids.
Yeah, I know. Awesome. I know that we've had countless conversations and text messages back and forth. And, I'd like you guys to share a little bit of how you guys get started in educating yourselves in real estate to start investing.
So like many others, I think almost everyone can talk about their experience with reading the Rich Dad, Poor Dad book. It all started with that. That was like Chris brought it home from work one day. He didn't read it for like a few months. I think I read it like that first week he brought it home, and I was just mind blown. And like many others, it was great at introducing the concept, but not anything about how to do it. But from that point on, we really just devoured as much information as we could about real estate. I think I went to our public school or public library, and I took out as many books as I could. And then a little forum called Bigger Pockets. I'm sure everyone knows about it. At the time, this was maybe 2019. There were maybe 200 to 300 podcasts at the time. And I listened to every single one of them in a matter of weeks. I was just completely obsessed. And,
she did. Yeah, that's no lie. She did.
And that was pretty much how it all got started, was lots of reading, lots of books, and Bigger Pockets.
Oh, great, Sheena. Nice. Typical Waipahu guy, right? Bring the book home and not read it for a while. I can attest. I can attest to that. I can attest that because I had that book. It was in my room somewhere, and when you guys read it, then I finally read it too. But that's funny.
Collecting dust, right? So
right.
To see my plan work, I brought it home and Sheena read it, so that worked out.
Awesome. Yeah, and I remember too that Chris talking about you guys diving into those big BP podcasts, and you guys kind of drugged me into that too. I remember it was the Korean Emoto episode that got me hooked, and I was like you guys, obsessed and religiously listened to the Bigger podcasts every day. So I don't even know what music's playing on the radio now. It's just podcasts and whatnot. That's it. So yeah, awesome stuff. So how did you guys decide what strategy you guys wanted to do? Was it because of the podcast, the books? Tell us a little bit about that.
So after hearing about, there's so many different strategies in real estate. There's so many different things that you can do. But our goal for our family is financial freedom and essentially time freedom. And the way, we both have W-2s that we really enjoy, but we don't want to be doing them until we're 65, 70. And so if the goal is for us to escape our W-2 earlier or sooner than later, the goal was cash flow. And for that, we chose long-term buy and hold real estate. We've utilized, although that's the main strategy that we utilize different vehicles to get us there, basically. So we started off with 2 traditional buy and holds locally in Las Vegas, doing it completely traditional, 20% down. They were pretty much ready to go. We didn't have to do very much work to it. But after purchasing 2 at, the price points here in Las Vegas, we were quickly running out of money, 70,000 here, 60,000 here. And we were like, we can't do this for much longer. And so that made us look for a market that our dollar would go a lot further. And so we started looking into the Midwest and the South, and that ended up, that landed us in Memphis, Tennessee, where our dollar could go a lot further, where we would keep the cash flow. And so our first purchase there was a turnkey property. We leveraged their resources to help us buy 4 or 5 properties there last year, and we BRRR'd 4 of them. And the 5th one, our plan for that one is a long-term BRRRR. So the overall strategy is long-term buy and hold. And we tried the local, turnkey, and long distance BRRRRs as well.
Nice. So Chris, can you, for those new on this this meetup tonight, can you guys go over a little bit what the BRRRR strategy is and how did you learn the process?
Yeah, for sure. For those of us that don't know, I'll just share. BRRRR, it's an acronym, right? So B stands for buy, R is rehab, R is rent, refinance is a third R, and the last R is you repeat the process, right? Basically, we learned that the BRRRR method through Bigger Pockets, and then of course, the co-host David Green wrote the book. It's sitting right behind Sheena, and we took that book to heart. We read it over and over, bought the audiobook, that sort of thing, read it, listened to it, and we just implemented the strategies that David talks about in there. And kind of going along with this other book, that long-term or long distance investing, just kind of molded the 2 books together, being that we were doing the BRRRR out of state in Memphis, several thousand miles away. And with that too, we tried to BRRRR here in Las Vegas, and just the numbers didn't work, like Sheena mentioned.
Great. So we're looking for cash flow, like you guys mentioned, right, with the BRRRR strategy. So can you guys give me an example of your BRRRR, an example?
Yeah, for sure. So our first BRRRR that occurred in Memphis is right after we purchased that turnkey property in Memphis. And like Sheena mentioned, after we found that through Bigger Pockets, by the way, it was Memphis Investment Properties or something like that. And Sheena looked at the numbers and she started doing her own homework and analysis. And she said, hey, we could do the BRRRR on our own here in Memphis. And that's when she started building the team. But anyway, we found that property and we put in an offer, and initially got rejected, and we were ready to move on and look for the next one. And then the seller came back like a week later, right, and said was willing to negotiate, and the price was within our parameters still. So we went forward and we purchased the property. And so with that, we purchased the property cash, and we used the contractor that Sheena found and established a rapport with, and we started the process of the renovation or the rehab, if you will. And with that, we were still kind of hesitant, or not hesitant, but kind of second guessing, like, is this property real? Is someone just taking our money, or what is this? So we booked a trip out there. We booked a trip to Memphis about halfway through that renovation, and we met our team. We met our realtor. We met the contractor, the property manager. The only person we didn't meet in person was our lender, of course, because he's based out in Arizona, I believe, but he provides services all across the country. But anyway, that kind of made us feel better. That's a real house. It's, no one's just taking our money. But two months exactly to the date that we purchased this first BRRRR, we were able to refi, and we left some money in the deal. It wasn't a home run BRRRR, but it gave us the confidence that we needed to say, hey, this thing actually works. And we purchased a property for way below the 20% that you normally need to put down for a traditional buy and hold. And it got us thinking, and it forced us to dive deeper because of the confidence, that first BRRRR property afforded us.
So you talk about confidence, but you guys were still, hesitant and did a surprise attack on them up there in Memphis, right? So I understand the pain. That was the scariest part for me, right? Not knowing where your money was going, but just the trusting and verifying the process, right? It's something we need to learn. And yeah, great stuff, guys. So you talk about the home run. What is a home run for the people that are new in the group here?
Yeah. So home run is when the pitcher pitches the ball and you swing the bat and it goes over the fence. Just kidding. So basically, home run burr, as in terms of the burr strategy, is when you're able to purchase a property for cash, and then rehab it, and during the refinance process, it appraises for a great appraisal. The appraisal is better than you expected, and you're able to pull all of your money, if not more than what you put down for the property. So essentially, you either paid nothing for a property or you got paid to buy a house, if that makes sense. So yeah, our third burr, right? Our third burr, it was a home run burr, and we ran our numbers super conservative, and the appraisal came back in our favor and some. And we're like, yeah, our confidence is skyrocketing at that point, and we're like, yeah, we like the burr strategy. It's awesome, and that was a great experience.
Great. Thanks for explaining what the home run burr is. So you guys are flying on this pedestal. You guys are up high, and then I've heard it, the fourth burr, right? I know Bigger Pockets, David Green, they all talk about the home run and cash out refi, pulling this and repeating the process, but it's not always green like that, right? So can you dive a little bit into your horror story?
Yeah. I may butcher the quote, but like Mike Tyson says, you're always ready for a fight until you get punched in the face. So this fourth burr really smacked us in the face really hard. We were just came off of our home run burr, and then this one we call the firehouse. Yeah, firehouse. Yeah. And we're like, oh yeah, we can do this one. We ran our numbers, not accounting for a bunch of stuff, and this one had a little bit of fire damage, and so we ran our numbers again, purchased it, and lo and behold, what we accounted for in the rehab, there was more. There were some underlying issues that we didn't see, that we didn't account for, and next thing you know, that rehab quote doubled, right? Doubled in a matter of like after the inspectors went in and they're like, oh, by the way, it doesn't pass mechanical testing. Electrical needs to be updated because the inspector will come out, and oh, by the way, drywall. Oh, by the way, we need another, what do you call those things? Those dumpsters. They're like, whoa, man. So it really doubled. And this rehab was initially supposed to be 4 weeks, ended up being 4 months. So Young, I feel your pain, and good on you for sticking through. So makes this one seem pretty easy compared to what you went through. But boy, let me tell you, this 4 months seemed like the longest 4 months. And on top of that, last year, as we all remember, in the middle of COVID, 2020, it was like November going into December. So no one was really working, and it was during holiday Christmas season. So no inspectors were coming out, or they'd say, oh yeah, it's because of COVID, or oh yeah, it's because of Thanksgiving. And so all of our inspections kept getting pushed out and delaying the whole process. And it was such a headache. And I remember both of us looking at each other like, oh, let's just put it back on the MLS. Let's just get rid of this thing. But we buckled down after all that excitement. We talked to our mentor, coach, and he smacked us in the head again and said, hey, what are the numbers looking like? What are your goals? Which is what we're talking about tonight. And our goal is cash flow. And essentially, he brought us back down, and we realized that our long-term goal is to get the cash flow. And essentially, we didn't know at the time, but at the end result was a cash flowing property with this firehouse. And I'm glad we listened to him, because had we let it go, we would have lost, I think, even more money at that point.
So it seems like you're saying it's great to get a mentor to get that mindset straight. That's what got you guys back laser focused. So sounds like you need to be laser focused on your goals. Are you guys on track for your goals?
So again, riding high on confidence last year with the success in 2020, despite the other situations, we set our goal pretty high, and some of us in this room were on that coffee talk with Keiko, and we said 10 properties. We're going to get 10 properties this year, and we got zero.
None.
And we got zero because again, it's contrary, where one way you're laser focused and you're intentional on your goals, and you put your effort and your time and energy, and it produces results. And on the other side, on the flip side, if you don't, then nothing happens, right? Nothing happens. So it's true on both ends of it.
So it seems like you need to be laser focused, follow what you preach. So can you say what made you guys pivot at this point?
So 2020 was very, I don't know what's the perfect, it was a unicorn year for us. And I think for a lot of people, there were a lot of changes going on in the world. COVID, everyone's still living, through it. But the biggest thing for 2020 that taking a step back, having all of that time given back to Chris and I, we no longer had to take 3 kids to 3 different schools. All of their after school activities were basically, came to a halt. We had all this time that we never had before. And I know that's exactly why we were so committed to real estate, because we had the time that we could commit to it. And so going into 2021, we made all these goals thinking that we could replicate or even do more than what we did in 2020 and 2021. And then 2021 started, and life went back to normal for us. Chris, got a promotion at work that we thought that he was going to be scaling back on his time. And instead it actually maybe pulled him a little bit more for a few months this year. Our kids all went back to school. And with that came all of their sports, their after school activities. We just sent our daughter off to college. And so we wanted to spend as much time with her, and, life, I know it sounds like maybe excuses to some people, but things came up and went back to the new norm for us. And we quickly realized that those goals we set in January are just not realistic for us with the life that we, the lifestyle that we live right now. And so that made it, absolutely clear that we were going to need to either, one, change our goals, or 2, take time away from our family to do the real estate. And that was never going to happen for us, because family is always first. And so, the real estate will always be there for us. But, this time with our kids, who are all teenagers, leaving the nest soon, we want to take that time with them for now. And so that required us to pivot and really look back at what the overall goal was, and getting really back to basics for us. And so that made it really easy for us to think out the process and pivot, again. And that's kind of where we're at today.
Yeah, if I could add, and pivoting this, it's for us, we realize it's okay to reassess our goals. And I see some of the comments like, there's still 3 months, and yes, there is still 3 months, so we're not going to put that to waste. So, like every real estate accountability group and meetup, this helps us get back on the horse and hold us accountable. Yeah. So we learned it's okay to reassess. The 10, maybe not 10, but if we get 10, we get it. But reassess and put a new number out there and attain that, versus, oh, I didn't get 10, so I'm just going to give up. So that's never going to happen. And again, to add, what are we doing this in the first place for? Is for our family. So we kind of had to, prioritize and execute that. And with our daughter going to college, and we just spent, we made the most of it. We spent a lot of time with her before she left. And there were days I was like, I got to do this, and this for real estate. And I was like, let's go take her out to lunch or something. And I think that was the right choice. Yeah. To spend time with her before she left.
Great choice. Love it, guys. Love the pivot part. I know what it's like sending the first one to college. Not gonna lie, I'm gonna man up. I cried when we let her go, and I'm pretty sure Chris cried also. But
Yeah, it was
did I
just
say that? I'm sorry. Did I?
was Dusty, and I had allergies.
He's still
Okay.
crying.
Okay, you got it. So from that pivoting process, so what did you guys learn from it, and what would you guys have done differently?
So definitely, we've come to terms with, everyone's journey is different. And when you start, when you start your journey, you're in a completely different position and you don't know where you're going to be, 1 month from now, 3 months from now, 6 months from now. And it's okay. It's okay to change your goals and pivot and, reevaluate your position, because things come up in life, the unexpected and even the expected sometimes, things come up and you're going to have to learn how to roll with the punches and keep persevering, or else, you're just gonna look back. We can look back at our goals and just completely feel like failures, like we've done nothing this year, real estate wise. But that's the biggest thing, is everyone's journey is a little bit different. It's okay to reevaluate yourself and know that chapter 1 is different from chapter 7, different from chapter 10, and you don't know what the ending looks like. But as long as we're headed in the right direction, we're on the right track.
Right. That's so great. Yeah, we cannot fail. We only can learn, right? We only can learn and grow. That's where we go from there. And like you said, we can always revisit, refocus our goals. Main thing is we know what our end goal is. We got that vision, right? So what are your plans going forward, being that we're here?
Yeah, for sure. And I love that question, because when I'm asked that, it's like, ooh, what now? But definitely stick true to our number to get us to our financial freedom, our time freedom, the number that we need. We're definitely not there yet. But what we need to do to get there is stick to what worked for us, which is the BRRRR strategy, analyzing deals. We were talking to our realtor maybe 4 or 5 times a day in Memphis through the phone, through email. And I can tell you that over the past 4 or 5 months, maybe even more, we weren't. It was just, we get our automatic emails, and I try to analyze a deal here and there, but the effort wasn't there. So moving forward is just put the effort in. That consistent daily action that we did in 2020, we need to continue to do that this year again. And like you guys said, I love the comments. I can't see them all, but there's the reset. There's still 3 months left. Absolutely. And we plan on taking advantage of the last 3 months and, do that moving forward, because we know where we want to go. It's kind of like, we all know when we got to go to work. For those of us that have W2s, we get on the freeway, we get off the exit, we go to work. Well, this time for us in 2021, we got on the freeway, there's traffic. So we had to take surface streets, take that exit. But we still know where we got to go. It just may be taking us longer than we expected. So I don't know if that applies to H1, because you get stuck on the west side, you're done, right? So at least in Vegas, we got surface streets you can take. So hopefully that analogy works, right?
It definitely does. I see taking surface streets. Not sure if you want to go through Waipahu though, but yeah, know what I'm saying? So goals and vision, you guys say you're gonna re-identify it?
For sure. So, I wrote in my little intention journal is 4 properties for the rest, the next 90 days or so, the next quarter. And I'll challenge ourselves to get that. And we know what we need to do is analyze deals and talk to people, maybe make some cold calls like we started off this year, but we got pulled away from it. So, again, it's like where that tide takes you. We can't swim against the current. We gotta kind of just swim parallel to shore for a little bit until we can catch that next wave.
Nice. So like go with the flow, right?
For sure.
That's what I'm seeing. So I know when you guys were down here earlier this year, you talked about the shiny object syndrome. Everybody has it, the squirrel, right? I'd like to for you to talk about that a little bit, because I have that shiny object syndrome also, and
Oh yeah, I just had it this morning. Instagram said a franchise opportunity for whatever it was, Smoothie King. I was like, ooh, Sheena, franchise, but so like shiny object, and it just kind of like, ooh.
All I said was squirrel.
Yeah, she said squirrel. That's what she said.
Squirrel.
I was like, you're right. But anyway, getting back to your question, we did. It's kind of like that fine line between, are we pivoting or are we just shiny object syndrome? But I think the biggest thing, and we joint ventured on this flip here in Vegas. It turned out to be better than expected, but that took a lot of time and effort from us with the flip here locally in Vegas. And because that time and energy was devoted to the flip and trying to learn that process, how to manage that type of structure, it took us away from our ultimate goal, which was the burr. And learning from that experience, what I think we need to do is, because we understand you can't burr all the time, a flip needs to be kind of sprinkled in there for a little bit. I don't think we were as focused or intentional with that. We just kind of followed our partner's lead and expected him to provide more than what we got from him. But again, that's taking ownership, right? And next time we can provide value. And in this partnership, we definitely like to work with that partner again. But I think there'd be more that we could provide in what we do with our burrs, so that it could be smoother and more controlled, if you will, from our end.
So it sounds like daily consistent action is key, whether it be a big step or a small step, right? That's what I'm hearing from you guys.
For sure.
Right. So love it, guys. Love the story. Can't get enough of it, but there's some questions here in the chat, and I'd like to go over some of them. So Young asked, on your third burr, what made you run the numbers more conservatively?
Ooh.
So this one was in a zip code that part of the zip code was in a better area. For the area, there was like a major road, and on certain parts of it, you could get more in rent or less. And this was the first time we were purchasing a property in this zip code. And because we were unfamiliar with that zip code from the previous two that we did, we went on the low end for numbers and more conservative with everything else, just in case, the appraiser ended up, not giving us the number that we wanted. And also that was the first home that we used hard money on. And so factoring that in, we weren't really sure. That was the first time we were using it. So we weren't really sure how that was going to play in long-term wise. And, you always have those doubts, like, even though we had the proof of concept, we've done it a couple of times, you still have that little doubt, that little nagging voice in your head. And bringing on the hard money lender in a new zip code, that made us really go more conservative on it. But it ended up being, the best deal that we've done so far.
Nice. So being uncomfortable, right? You guys got comfortable being uncomfortable?
Yeah.
That's right.
Awesome. I got another question here. Was there any way to anticipate the higher rehab on your firehouse?
Oh,
on your fourth burr?
Yeah, Jerry now, yeah, absolutely.
100%.
But even before starting the project, we trusted, but we didn't verify. I remember the electrician said, or whoever looked at it, oh, just minor electrical stuff. Like, oh, minor, okay, cool, perfect, that's it. Needs to change an outlet. I think that's what they said. Yeah. And we didn't do enough of our due diligence on that. Get a third party. We didn't verify. So definitely, if we had done that, we could have anticipated that higher rehab. And I remember this market kept coming on and off the MLS, kept coming on and off, and like, ooh, price reduction. And then finally that price reduction came within where it worked for us, and we went after it.
So would you say that because that's something to look for, because of the several price reductions, that there may have been something wrong with that home, or
yeah,
a key indicator?
A red flag. Yeah. Things that make you go,
Right. So here we go. Here's a good one. Here's a good question. What can we do to help you achieve that goal or your goals?
Oh man. That's a great question. And this is my ego or our ego, but it's like, oh, we want to do it by ourselves, and definitely the accountability. And we've learned it's a force multiplier to lean on others and leverage other strengths. And right now, I'll tell you right now, on that flip, like we used some capital, and we were over leveraged and whatnot. And, that's why we're trying to learn how to use private money and build our what do you call, our brochure, if you will, our program. And that's where I just feel stuck on that. So, answering that question honestly, is there anything you want to add on that one?
Yeah, I think definitely we gotta be held accountable. We took a break from social media, which, for the most part, I think, a lot of people do that, and it was great for us. But also from taking the break from social media, we also kind of isolated ourselves, because a lot of the push and a lot of the the messages and things that we receive from multiple accountability groups that we're in are through social media. And so I think that was like a double-edged sword doing that. We didn't do the social media thing, but we also cut ourselves off from the world. And so this comes at the perfect time for us, as we are settling into our new normal, getting back on it, and trying to finish off the year strong and the fourth quarter strong, and definitely holding us accountable to what we're going to do and what we say we're going to do.
Nice. I love it. So how can we hold you guys accountable to the goals that you guys are setting?
I saw
or
that.
are gonna set?
I love that question too, because, and I'll tell you right now, I've been writing for like 4 weeks in my journal that I started off in the morning. Work on your private money lending brochure, and guess how many days I worked on it? It's 0. And that's me. That's my bad, and how? Check in with me. What have you done toward that goal yet? What have you done to build your brochure? What have you done? Have you done any research? Have you talked to anyone? That sort of thing. And I may have talked to a few of us in this room, but my part, I did 0. So that's on my bad. Again, it goes back to that consistent daily action. And if you do nothing, nothing's going to come out right. So
Right. Great. I'll hold you guys accountable. You guys can call me, text me anytime. So there's another question in the chat here. So you said you guys partnered on a flip in Vegas. Is there any advice for someone in here in this group tonight looking to get into a partnership or a joint venture out there?
I think have clear intentions and expectations on what each partnership is going to bring to the table.
mhm.
I think there are a lot of some assumptions made on our part on what we would get, not monetarily, but more so learning wise from the whole project. We actually we have neighbors who, a little bit of backstory, we have neighbors who actually flip. All they do is flip houses. They're both realtors, and they flip houses here, and they've been asking us for about a year to partner on them with some of their projects. And we always, I don't know why, but just not, I know why. We always turn them down because that wasn't part of our goal. Those weren't our intentions. And so this year, that was the shiny object syndrome. I found a property that was a great deal, and we brought it to them. And so when we went into the project, I think we expected to learn more of their process here. And they are just so like into their process and know how everything goes, that they didn't really explain things to us. But we also didn't make it clear that we wanted to learn more from them. And so I think having clear expectations and goals for each party in the beginning, that would be a conversation that you need to have going into the project. That was the biggest thing for me.
Yeah, and I think to add on to that as well is just have those hard conversations. What if it doesn't appraise for this, the amount that we like, or what if the contractor is whatever, what if they're late or they don't show up, because we had our tile guy didn't show up for like a month, right? Yeah. So whatever it was, he delayed the project. But anyway, those sort of things, I think I mentioned it earlier during our conversation, is, we could bring some of the systems and processes that we learned with our BRRRRs, because essentially a BRRRR is a flip that you keep. And we could have brought that to them, or even had a conversation. This is how we do things, how to do your things, and we kind of, jive together. But we never had that conversation. It's like, you got money, I got money, let's go buy this house and flip it. And it was that sort of thing. So it was a little more than that, but we could definitely could have provided more value to that. And they provided a lot of value to us and in their contractors and their knowledge and their network.
Nice. It's all a learning process, right? It's a work in progress. As long as we're learning, moving forward. So that's all we strive for, right? In real estate investing. So going back to your goals, there's another question here. It says, what are the fourth quarter goals?
And our fourth quarter goals are to acquire 4 long-term buy and hold rentals, whether it be through Burr or whatnot, and they can either be in Memphis or Las Vegas.
Yep.
We're gonna hit up the 2 markets that we're already in.
Wow. Great goals. 3 months less. 3 months left in the year. Let's get it, guys. I can see you guys doing it. Yeah, awesome. So another question in here I'd like to move on is, do you think meeting your team in person was helpful?
For sure. Absolutely. Because, and I know some of you guys will be doing that here in a few weeks or maybe even next week, but people are a certain way on email or text or on the phone, and you're like, oh, that guy was pretty cool. And when you meet them in person, it's different. But when we went to Memphis, we met everyone, the realtor to the contractor, to the property manager, and it exceeded what our perception of them was which was already good. And when we met them, it even quantified how much we trusted them. And, I call them the warm and fuzzies with them. And we trusted them even more. And hopefully we did the same for them. And I think it did, because we started getting those like undercover emails, right, that we never got initially. So it was like, oh, look at this email. We never got that one before. So I think it went both ways, where it was helpful for us and it was helpful for them, that they weren't wasting their time on some Joe Schmo, whoever. So
Yeah, I think there's I'm pretty sure I still have the video when we walked into the property and met everyone. I was like, it's a real house with real people, because there were those people that were like, how do you know you're not getting scammed? And so I think it just helped us to establish rapport with the team. And there's nothing like shaking someone's hand and looking them in the eye. So you really get to know a person when you're in person with them, like this doing things through Zoom and social media and on the phone. It just doesn't give you that personal interaction that is so important sometimes, and it helps you learn about the individual as well. So I think meeting your team at least once, and we've only been to Memphis once. We have 6 properties there. We've only seen 2 of them, and we've only been there one time last year. And so like, even if you can't make it, our intention was to go every few months, but with life and everything, we haven't been. But even just meeting your team at some point in the process, I think is very important, and can really help to solidify the relationship on both ends.
Right. There's nothing like that handshake and look that person in the eye, right? So how did you guys build your team or find your team out there in Memphis?
Yeah, so that's your question, because you did it. I picked the lender. That was it.
I'm a really good stalker. Bigger Pockets Forum. I basically found one forum for Memphis, and then the same 2 names kept popping up over and over and over again. And I've spent hours reading, all the different forums on Memphis, and those 2 names kept popping up. So I'm like, if these 2 names keep popping up and most of their, reviews are great, they must be good. And so I reached out to not only them, but a lot of people on there, but the 2 of them. And from there, they gave me recommendations on contractors, on, other real estate agents. And also, so it was a little bit of Bigger Pockets Forum, and also our turnkey company. A lot of people or turnkey has a bad rap for some people. Some turnkey companies are terrible, others are better, but our experience was really good, and they were very open with sharing their resources with us. They really helped us to learn the area, the vendors they use. We learned what kind of rehabs were for A class areas, B class, C class. And so it was a mix of the two, a combination of the two. It was Bigger Pockets forums and me going down a rabbit hole for a couple of days, and really utilizing our turnkey company there in Memphis.
Nice. Turnkey. You talk about turnkey. Can we talk about that a little bit for people that don't know what turnkey is around here?
Yeah, so I may butcher it, so help me out here, but the turnkey is essentially, they do the legwork for you. They purchase the property, whether it's through a wholesaler or distressed property. They rehab it for you. They take care of all the maintenance, the things that we call CapEx, like things like your roof, your water heaters, your AC units, so that there won't be those expenses. And they take care of all that, and they provided us a tenant. They provided us with a property manager. So essentially, it was like your one-stop shop, truly passive. You just click, pick and choose, do a quick webinar with the president or whoever Mark Hart was, and provided us this cash flowing property. And one thing, they said it was a 2-year lease that they would give us. Ended up being a 1-year lease, but after the first year, the tenants renewed anyway, so we ended up getting 2 years anyway out of them. But that's essentially turnkey. As you hear it, you just get the key and you turn it and it's ready to go. And that's what the turnkey was. And with Sheena's research and her professional stalking, as she called it, she found a way for us to be, that provider for ourselves, where we were able to build that team and purchase properties under value and add value due to refinance ourselves, that sort of thing.
That is so awesome. Just going on Bigger Pockets and on those forums, finding a turnkey provider and building your team off of that. So yeah, Brandon, I'd like to get your thoughts on that. What are your thoughts on, visiting? I know we invest in the Kansas City market. Just wanted to know what your thoughts are, getting out there, handshaking with people that networking out there also.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I'm excited. I can't wait to meet my team and to see what they're all about, and for them to know that I'm a real person behind the computer and a phone, and just looking forward to see what kind of growth we can experience just by doing that. Right. So yeah, that's really cool. And thanks Sheena and Chris for sharing that. I had a quick question, if I could. And tonight we're talking about goals and staying laser focused and so forth. But what if somebody doesn't quite know how to create a goal, or doesn't even know what they want? What would be one thing that you could tell somebody to help them identify what they want to achieve before the end of the year?
Yeah, for sure. I would say start backwards, and say, what is it that you want? And, we talk about it like we came up with it in 5 minutes. It took us, several tries, several months, I think, maybe. And we're like, what do you want? She asked me, what do I want? Well, it's to retire earlier than expected. And so now the next question is, well, how do you get there? And I'm just speaking for ourselves. And we came up with this number. And what was that number? Then how do we get to that number? How many properties would it take? That sort of thing. And we just kind of reverse engineered it to where, we were able to get to that goal and that vision. And then you start talking about the hows and the whys. And I think the whys is the biggest thing. For us, it's our family. And that's something I write down every morning. Why am I motivated? Even I'm feeling, tired or, just, work's busy or whatever. Every time I write down that why, it just lights a fire, and to continue to do it. And, that would be my biggest thing. Find your why, find your what, and find your hows. And then, you'll reverse engineer it. It won't be perfect. And like we talked about it, is that constant, reassess, and revisit and then just shift. And that's a journey, right? It's not going to be, well, I'm doing this and I'm sticking to it no matter what, right? And that's just robotic, and we're not robots in here. We're human beings, and And that's how we got to our goals. And I guarantee you at the end of this year is going to change again. I guarantee it.
So I know you guys pivoted in the beginning of the year, and if you're on track to your goals or you're trying to work towards something, I guess when do you think would be an okay time to pivot from whatever you're trying to work toward?
Oh man. You know what? The favorite answer we love is it depends. You know, I can't give a definite answer because I don't know what's going to happen a week from now, a month from now, a year from now. And I think you'll just know. I know it sounds like the cop out answer, like, oh yeah, it depends. But it really does. It really does depend on what's going on in your life. Or let's say there's a 100-unit apartment complex that's ready to go, and you're like, yeah, let's go get it. And you could pivot. And you know, Sheena might call it squirreling or shiny object syndrome. But I think if the time is right, then the time is right, you know. And I just love that you pivot. You know, you don't just stay still. You gotta keep moving.
Yeah, cool. All right, so you talked about identifying what you want to achieve or identifying that destination. You talked about how to get to that destination. Now, how can somebody stay laser focused, and how can they keep on track to whatever that goal is by the end of the year? What would be, I guess, one piece of advice?
If
Good.
you know, for us personally, what has really worked for us and what we did religiously when we were, you know, on track for all of our goals last year was the Intention Journal by Brandon Turner. And it doesn't even have to be that exact one. I think there's a lot of different products out there that do this, but it's basically writing down your goal every day. You know, that's the first thing you do when you wake up in the morning, is writing down your why or your goal every single day. There's something powerful about putting, you know, that on paper and having that constant reminder to yourself, and you know, just reigniting the fire every single day and starting your day like that. And then followed by writing down your 3 goals. It was, you know, your 3 most important your 3 mins, the most important next steps. So the 3 things that you're going to do that day in order to make it a successful day, and that will lead you closer to getting to your overall goals. And so if there was one thing that I could recommend, and that's also kind of for ourselves, because of course we had an unsuccessful last 6 months, and there's no, you know, it's of course because I wasn't doing any of this. And so it's a reminder for myself as well, as like getting back into some sort of journaling and writing your intentions and your goals down, along with the steps that you have to take to get you there.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Thank you.
nice.
Yeah, and I think Gilbert mentioned that earlier, right? Consistency, that consistent daily action. So for sure. Awesome. All right. Before we wrap it up, does anybody else have any questions for Chris and Sheena? And thank you again, Chris and Sheena. You know, I know it's late on, or getting late on your end, so we really appreciate you guys hopping on for tonight, and it being a weeknight and so forth. So thank you very much. But looks like no other questions for now, so we will start wrapping it up. Chris and Sheena, I'm going to throw their contact info if you guys want to get in touch with them. I'm going to throw it up in the chat. And if I wanted to remind you folks too, after our formal portion of the meetup, we're going to be going into breakout rooms for networking. And oh, sorry, Young, did you have something to say?
Oh, I'm sorry. I just wanted to see if you guys wanted to get on your camera. I was going to take a photo real quick.
Oh, great idea. Yeah.
Yeah, before we jump into our breakout session room and closing out. So yeah, and thank you, Sheena and Chris. It was great story. And I think you guys were saying, I think Sheena, you were saying this year was unsuccessful, but I don't think it is. I think you guys just pivot. I think it's a great thing to do, spend time with your family, and you can always pivot back. So I just wanted to mention that. Yeah. All right. You guys ready? All right. All right.
Good.
Thank you. Yep.
Awesome. All right. So yeah, we're going to be jumping into breakout rooms really shortly. And I also wanted to mention that in the chat, I'm going to throw something in there. And it's for us, we're all about networking, right? And getting to know each other, getting to know each other's goals, and also offering what to other people what are some of our strengths are. So in the chat, there's going to be a form, a roster, if you will. Feel free to fill it out. Just know that whoever fills it out is the only people that are going to be receiving your information. And if you don't want to disclose certain information, you don't have to, as far as your phone number or email or whatever it is. But we just want to offer that out there to the community to get to network and get to learn about each other and see if we can do things together. Right. So check that form out. We'll be sending that out to each of you, whoever fills it out, in the next day or so once we get it all back. But that's in the chat. So that's it for tonight. Next month, we're going to be talking about horror stories in celebration, I guess, if you will, Halloween. So stick around for that. We're going to have a couple of people sharing different experiences that they've had in real estate and some things that may not have worked out in their favor, but also how they've overcome it. So I think it's going to be really, really neat just to kind of hear some inspiring stories and so forth. So mark your calendars, October 27. That's Wednesday, 7 p.m. Hawaii Standard Time. And again, I just want to thank you very, very much, Sheena and Chris, for just coming on, sharing your story and talking about how we can stay laser focused and setting those goals so that we can finish off the year strong. And Gilbert as well, thank you very much for facilitating that conversation. One more thing too, October 22nd, we have live in-person event, full real estate meetup. So if you can, just check out eventbrite.com. You can purchase the ticket there. We're going to be having Daniel Kong, I think he's here, Stacey Augustin, and CJ speaking about similar topic, right? Finishing off the year strong, staying laser focused. So I think that's going to be a really, really great event too. Make sure you check that out. That's October 22nd, 6:30 p.m. out in Kapolei. That's it for now. On behalf of Young, Gilbert, everybody else at WNN, we just want to say thank you for your time. Hope you guys have a great month, and let's get to it and finish off this quarter strong. All right. Thank you very much.